In this video, we're going to learn about something called a compound assignment operator. We actually used something similar to this in an earlier video, but you may not have noticed. But anyhow, we're going to use this operator in two ways. First of all, we're going to use it to concatenate strings like we've done in the past. And we're also going to use it to do math like add or subtract numbers. So the first example is strings. So let's take a look. I'm going to do a really quick print statement. We have 4 strings up here. The string PB is equivalent to peanut butter. The string A is and. The string J is jelly. And the string space is just a blank space. So let me type this in really quickly. We have PB plus space plus A plus space plus J. So it should say peanut butter and jelly. Awesome, awesome. Now what we're going to do is we're going to use the compound assignment operator to replicate this result, but we'll be using the compound assignment operator instead. So we're going to create a variable, because this won't work with the constant because we'll be continuously modifying it. So we're going to just say new string, and we're going to set that equal to PB. We're starting out by just saying peanut butter. And I'll go ahead and print new string so we can see what it looks like as we're creating it. What we're going to do now is we're going to add on to this string right here. New string. And this is the compound assignment operator. It looks like plus equals. And we're going to say space. And then we'll do the same thing. We'll put and then space. And then J for jelly. And there we go. Peanut butter and jelly. Peanut butter and jelly. So this line of code does the exact same thing as all these lines of code. It may not be the most efficient method, but it's important to know how it works. So you start with a string that just says peanut butter. Then you add a space. Then you add the word and. You add another space. And then you add the word jelly. And then you print out the string to the console. So that's all we're doing here. Now let's do this except with numbers, adding, subtracting, etc., etc. I'm going to go ahead and pre-program a few functions so that you don't have to watch me do this and waste your time. So give me a minute and I'll be right back. Alright, we are back. And let's see what I created for us. We have a global variable called total points. This variable exists outside any of these 3 functions. So what this means is that all 3 of these functions are able to access or modify or do something to this particular variable. So if, for example, we decide to call gain 1 point. Right now the printing statement down here says we have 0 points. So if we call gain 1 point, this should update to 1. Or if we also do gain 3 points, it'll be 1 plus 3, which is 4. So what's exactly happening here? Well, when you use the compound assignment operator on numbers, it's actually a direct addition or subtraction or multiplication or division of whatever the base total is. So down here, when I call the gain 1 point function, it goes ahead and carries out this task up here. It takes whatever value is currently assigned to total points. At this point, it's only 0, so total points equals 0. And then it adds 1 to that total. So this basically says whatever this value is going to be added to the current value of this right here. So this is 0, you add 1 to it, and now it's going to be 1. Awesome. After we call the 1-point function, we'll call the 3-point function, and we'll go ahead and call this one right here. So again, same process. You start with the variable total points. Remember, we already updated total points from 0 to 1 up here. And because total points exists out here outside of any function, that means that the value of total points will still be accessible by any of these other functions down here. So total points right here, when we call the gain 3 points function, total points is going to be equal to 1, and then we're going to add 3 more points to it. So 1 plus 3 equals 4. And so once both of these functions have been executed, the value of total points is going to be 4. But essentially that's how the compound operator works, is it just adds whatever is to the right of the sign to whatever is to the left of the signs. Really quite simple. And this is also an example of how you can use something called a global variable, in this case total points. You can use a global variable to keep a running total of how many points you have, or any other numeric value, or whatever you want. So every time that one of these functions updates the total points variable out here, total points stays updated. And you can also do the same thing with subtraction, or multiplication, or division, or really whatever you want. So think about the logic. You start with 0 points. You call the gain 1 point function. This function actually has been modified so that instead of getting 1 point, it subtracts. So we're going to have 0 minus 1, which is negative 1. So total points is now negative 1. And now we're going to go ahead and call the gain 3 points function, which again, I've rewritten the function. It does not increase it by 3 anymore. It actually multiplies it by 3. So negative 1, which is what we had from up here, negative 1 times 3 is negative 3. And guess what? That's what we have down here, is negative 3 as our final output. Hopefully this video has been useful, and I've actually found that these compound operators are really common, really useful, so just don't be afraid to use them. They come in handy more often than you would expect. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.